my thoughts and in my dreams, they're always in my mind. These songs of hobbits, dwarves and men, and elves, come close your eyes, you can see them too.
I think everyone has a story about the most catastrophic series of botches or critical hits in their history. It's part of what makes role-playing special is, you know, the most catastrophic or fantastic dice rolls ever. Probably the worst run of bad luck I've seen, and there's been a few of them, was in a game called Spycraft. And what Spycraft is essentially kind of a James Bond simulator. You can play it a lot of different ways. You can play it anywhere from Austin Powers to James Bond. The way I played it was more Metal Gear Solid, actually. I find it played a lot, very cool that way, where you can kind of have the super science and you can have the kind of the super secret agents like Snake and stuff like that. So that's the way we played it, was kind of Metal Gear Solid. So in our first game, I had a group of like 4 people. Spycraft is another one of those games where shopping is a lot of fun. There's whole books based around the various gadgets and stuff you can have. It was we played the first version, which was a little finicky. There were some issues with the design, and they fixed that later. But at first, what it was that every character had a certain number of budget points. They had budget points and gadget points. Budget points were spent on just like the nuts and bolts, the guns, the armor, the various equipment that your character could carry into the field. And gadget points were the super science-y stuff. You know, the gadgets like the Q watch and stuff like that. So some classes had more gadget points than others. Like if you were a techie nerd, you had way more gadget points, and if you were a soldier, you had a lot of equipment points. Where I kind of objected to it was it kind of arbitrarily issued very common equipment budget points. So if you wanted a flashlight, it was a budget point. If you wanted ammo, it was a budget point. If you wanted batteries, a budget point. So there was a lot of really, like you only had like 30 to 50 budget points, and so you're spending like 5 of it on bullets or batteries for a flashlight. It was horseshit. So I kind of instituted a house rule immediately where like, if you could easily find it at Walmart for under $50, you can have it. So that immediately made things way easier. But the first adventure that I had was, it was very inspired by Mission Impossible. I liked the gimmick, so I thought this would be a good test of their skills, where basically the situation was there was a diplomat trying to evade France, or something like that, with some state secrets. And it was on a memory card that he kept in his PDA. So their mission was, the security at the stations was too tight, so they had to somehow board this bullet train, which went like 120 miles an hour. They had to board it in motion, get on it, and steal the memory card stealthily. And the complication is that there would be another government's strike team on the train that would try to stop them, and that's where the fight would come. So, but they had to steal it stealthily, otherwise things would get bad. So I didn't really have a plan for how they would get on this train. I was really just leaving it up to them to use their ingenuity and look in the gadget book and kind of pick something out or invent something that would either stop the train or get them on the train. So basically what happened was, they had this guy who was like a master thief. He was kind of like a ninja character who was like a thief acrobat. He could climb on anything and do stuff. And so he's looking through the book and he sees electromagnets, like suction cups but electromagnets. So he's like, oh, we can use these. We can use this. This is pretty cool. So what we can do is, what I can do is I can use these electromagnets and like put a harpoon and attach it to the train. But I'm like, okay, that'll work. But you've got to be able to. It's like, what I'll do is I'll jump on the train using my electromagnets and attach a line, so you can kind of rappel down onto the train, so everyone can do this. And so I'm like, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. So this, you can see where this is going. So what they do is they get a helicopter. They pool their budget points. They get a helicopter, and they fly to match the train's speed. So first step, fine. So what they do is the guy's like, okay, we're going to match the speed of the train. I'm going to jump on the train with my electromagnets. I'm going to climb down there. And so I'm like, okay, good. Roll your, I think it was either athletics or balance or something like that. I'm just like, roll your best skill. Like, you jump on there, and he rolls a 1, which is bad. So I'm like, fuck. Well, here's the thing, though. I initially, this was like a DC 15 check. You had to roll a 15 or over, and this guy was the thief, so he had like plus 10 to the skill. He really only needed to roll like a 4. So I initially planned for this. I was like, okay, if he fails, what'll happen is, and this is what happens is, well, you land on the train, but you hit hard, and your hands slip, and you wrench your shoulder, and you take 1d4 damage. And you can try again. So, the first time he rolls his 1, he takes 4 damage, and I go, okay, well, try again. You can still catch yourself. He rolls a 1. I'm like, oh, shit. Well, you tumble end over end across the train, and you feel like you've separated your shoulder. You take another d4 points of damage. Roll again. Rolls a 1. I go, ugh. Okay, you take another d4 points of damage, roll again. He rolls a 1. The odds of this are phenomenal, by the way. It's like 1 in 400 by 20 by 20. Yeah, it's pretty fucking astronomical. So, I go, alright, you fall off the train. Like, I gave you 4 chances, dude. And he goes like, I know! I'm like, you fell off the fucking train. So, I'm like, well, you fall off the train at 120 miles an hour, take 2d6 damage. And he actually lucked out. He didn't die outright, but he was at like -2 hit points. He was dying. So they go, oh shit. And here's the problem, is they need him. They need him real bad. Because the way it worked was, these guys were kind of like the A-team. You know, they all had specialized. There was like 4 of these guys. So there was a soldier, there was the thief, there was the hacker, and there was like the face man. You know. So, we had all these characters who were specialized, but he was the only thief! He was the only guy who could pull this shit off, really. The Face Man had some thief abilities, but he wasn't anywhere near as good. And he didn't have the electromagnets. So, the thief had fallen off the train and was dying. So, they pull the helicopter over, and they pick up his carcass. And I'm like, well, he's dying, he needs a hospital. And they're like, we can't go to the hospital. Can we stabilize him? And I'm like, oh yeah, that's first aid. He's hurt pretty bad, but the Face Man is a trained medic. You can see where I'm going with this. So I go, okay, roll first aid. He's got like a broken arm, and he's got internal bleeding, but you can probably stabilize him. And so the thing is, I want him to succeed, because they need him to at least attach this fucking cable to the train so they can rappel down, or something. So he rolls his first aid, rolls a 1. I go, oh, that didn't help. He takes another d4 damage as you actually accidentally manipulate his neck, and you hear like there's something broken in there. And he's like, oh shit, well, can I roll again? I go, yeah, he rolls a 1. I go, he's dead. He's dead. And so they goes, we've got like an emergency kit in here, right? And I go, in the helicopter? Yeah, probably. And they goes, whoa, what if we defibrillate him? And I'm like, okay. He rolls a 2. I'm like, he's dead. So I'm like, fuck. So I'm actually not happy about this. You know, like they can't get on the train now. They can't. So the Face Man tries to put on the electromagnets. He's like, this is such a bad idea, you guys. I'm like, I know. I'm like, what's your athletics? He's like, +4. I'm like, well, you need to roll like a 10, so you got a 50-50 shot. He doesn't make it. So I'm like, roll again. He doesn't make it. I go, roll again. They couldn't get on the train. It was, bar none, like the worst run of dice I've ever seen in my life. They did nothing right that adventure. They basically went home in failure. And it didn't work out. But ironically enough, they didn't blame me, which they probably should have. But yeah, most of these stories end up with my players dying. I don't know how to explain it, but that was a bad run of dice rolls when they fell off that train. What can you do?